Hello, everybody, and welcome to our February 18th, I'm going to say heart event with Dr. Ewald. Tonight, you guys are in for such a special treat. And the title of his talk is Unlock the Key to a Healthy Heart. And if you don't know Dr. Michael Ewald, I'm just going to say you're going to fall in love with him. He is just a man that is so fun. He loves to have fun. I'm sure he'll throw some kind of joke in there. He's already asked some people if they have 5 hours tonight to be around. Yeah. But he truly is, when I think about Dr. Ewald, I think about a godly man. I think about him being a husband. I think about him being a father. I think about him being a grandfather. And then, him being a chiropractor. So he has been a chiropractor for 27 years. He practices in the Dayton, Ohio area. And, really, he just loves people. And the reason why we asked him to speak tonight is because February is Heart Health Month. And I don't know of a better person to just deliver such a message full of love and gratitude. So, not only is he all those people that I talked about, but he is a national marketing director with the Juice Plus company and is just well known in the Juice Plus company. So without further ado, I am just going to ask you to start sharing your screen, and we are excited for you to bless us this evening.
Well, thank you, Brandy, and really appreciate you all taking time to join us on this call tonight. And I don't know if it's mostly Juice Plus partners. Hopefully we've got some guests on the line here. And if you are a guest, and I just want to kind of put this disclaimer up front right away, if you think we're trying to sell you something, I want to guarantee to you that we are definitely trying to sell you something. And not necessarily Juice Plus, we're trying to sell you a better way of life, hopefully. And just encourage you to kind of take some of the things that I share tonight, and hopefully you'll walk away with one tool or one thing that you can implement, into your everyday life. That's kind of my goal. And I know change is hard for most of us. And I think it's really all about simple changes. It's not about being perfect, but I love talking about heart health. And of course, February is Heart Health Month. And I kind of share my story. My family story is actually that picture, if you can see it. And I hope you guys are hearing me. All I have is my screen here. I'm not seeing any other folks here. But my story is, this is back in 1971. You can see I'm the one, the serious guy on the right there. I've got a twin brother, Mark, which I'll talk about. But
I need you to share your screen.
Do what?
Can you share your screen? I'm just seeing.
Okay, you're not seeing that. I'm sorry. What am I doing wrong here?
I didn't want to stop you, but I'd rather do it now than when you get started.
Huh. Okay, share.
It's just working. You're okay.
I don't know why it's not coming up. It was just there. So try it again.
Jamie, we might need you to help us through this, but he just shared it before everybody popped on. So
I did, and I shrunk it back down because I wanted your face in there, but it's not giving me the PowerPoint option in the choices. It's got desktop one, whiteboard, iPhone cable. Maybe I'll do.
There you go.
There it is.
How about awesome. Now? You seeing that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yep. Okay. Anyhow, awesome. I was just getting ready to share. Did you guys hear me? The kind of the intro type. You could hear me, but not see the screen.
Correct.
Okay. Just kind of my story. This is a family picture taken back in 1971. My dad, he would have been 45 in this picture. And if you look at him, he really wasn't that much overweight. What I do know about my dad is he he was climbing the corporate ladder at that time and living a pretty stressful life, raising 6 kids. He traveled all over the country. But the sad fact is the next year, at the young age of 46 years young, he had a sudden heart attack that took his life. And of course, 1 out of 3 heart attacks is sudden death, and that was our story. But left mom to raise 6 kids, by herself. My sister Debbie, if you look at that picture in the upper left-hand corner, she is mentally and physically, mentally, I guess we say cognitively challenged now and physically challenged, but just really left mom with a hard way. I don't think she ever got over my dad's death. And incidentally, his dad, my grandfather, he was in his mid 50s when he passed away of heart disease. So I definitely have cardiovascular issues in my family. And if I were to ask you guys to raise your hand, I would venture to say that at least half of you, probably or more, can share the same story, right? And we just kind of, accept it that, heart disease and cancer and all these other diseases that we're suffering from, it's just a genetic thing that, we can't really get around. And tonight's talk is definitely about changing that story. And, if you look at the incredible human heart, wanted to share some facts with you, but as you guys know, your heart works as a pump to keep your blood moving inside of you, delivering nutrients and oxygen to all areas of your body while carrying away waste products and carbon dioxide. When your heart muscle contracts or beats, it pushes blood through your heart and all over your body. And some interesting facts, your heart beats about 100,000 times a day. Your heart pumps about 1 million barrels of blood during an average lifetime. And to kind of put that in perspective, you'd have to turn your kitchen faucet on full bore for about 45 years to equal the amount of blood pumped by the heart in an average lifetime. So this is interesting. A woman's heart beats faster than a man's. Some people might say that women's have a bigger, better heart. Probably true. But I think we'd all agree that it's an amazing machine. And the sad fact is, in this country, we don't take real good care of our cardiovascular system. And I think a lot of the reason is because, we can afford to eat pretty much whatever we want to. And, if you look at the statistics on heart disease, 116.4 million people, or about close to 50% of US adults now, are estimated to have hypertension, high blood pressure. On average, someone dies of cardiovascular disease every 38 seconds, about 2,303 deaths from cardiovascular disease every single day. And about 400, close to 400 deaths as far as strokes every day as well. So it's just out of control. It's a close to $450 billion industry when it comes to treating cardiovascular disease. And if you look at those stats there, it's not a man's disease. Actually, more women die of heart disease now than men do. And of course, cardiovascular disease claims more than all cancers combined, including breast cancer by far. And 1 in 3 will have diabetes by the year of 2050. 1 in 5 children are obese. And that's obese, not overweight. They're saying now that 70% of us now are too short for our weight. That's how I'll say it. But the fact is with every increase in your skirt size or your belt size, the incidence of every disease process goes up significantly. And, I love what Dr. Katz says there. And if you think about the damaging effects of drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined, poor diet is affecting kids more than those 3 combined. So it is a huge problem, obviously. And the good news is we can take control of what's happening. It's really a self-imposed disease process, cardiovascular disease is. And, if you have a genetic history like I do, I will tell you, that's my twin brother, Mark, there. He's going to turn 60 here in September, and I'm 4 minutes older than him. So you can kind of do the math and figure out how old I am. But, and it's not that I'm any better than my brother. I'm not. He's probably the nicest guy in the world. But what I've learned is, it's not necessarily bad genetics that we're inheriting. Most of us, if you were raised like I was raised, we were kind of a meat and potatoes family. I'm not saying that's bad, but, I've made some changes the last close to 30, 35 years now in my diet. And you can see he's kind of the bigger bigger, uglier version of me. I joke with him, but he's probably got me about 50 pounds conservatively. He's got high blood pressure, high cholesterol. He's actually had close to 18 colonoscopies for precancerous stuff. And again, twins are a great study group, the same genetic makeup, the same melting pot. So it's a great study group. And what they've learned is it's not genetics, it's lifestyle habits that we're inheriting. And hopefully this will encourage you that if you are losing loved ones through cardiovascular disease or cancer or whatever, just know that lifestyle trumps your genetics. You know, the goal for all of us should be to live long and die short. And what we're going to talk about tonight, I really think we can do that. And I would say, as far as, you know, the best physician for all of you is you. You should be your own best physician. And that's what we're talking about tonight, basically self-care. You know, why are we so sick? I love what Dr. Alejandro Younger says. You know, the problem is we are not eating food anymore, we're eating food-like products. And most or many experts will tell you that once you get out of the the produce department in your grocery store, there's not any real food in the grocery store. If it's boxed, bagged, or canned, you know, it's overly processed. It's gone through all kinds of processing, and there's probably a lot of additives and chemicals and sugar added to our food chain. And the other problem is our environment is very toxic. That picture there is actually a picture of glyphosate. That's actually at our farm in Southern Ohio. I set that up on my tractor. But glyphosate is a huge problem. And you're seeing all these commercials now about Roundup and, you know, all of that, because they're seeing the damaging effects of all this toxic stuff in our environment, the plastics and the, you know, just so many things that are toxic today, perfumes, and again, our food chain, our air, our water. It's a huge problem. And again, this is why we're so sick. And I love these two pictures. If you don't remember anything about tonight's talk, I think these two pictures right here really explain why we're where we're at. And this family, and these two pictures came out of a Time magazine probably about 12 years ago now. And what they did is they looked at the different dietary habits around the world. And if you look at this family, this woman's raising her 5 children in Chad, spending $1.50 a week in a refugee camp. You know, and this is all this woman can afford. This is all she has available to her. But what's profound, if you look at their diet, it's pretty much fruits, vegetables, grains, and water. And again, this is all she has. But what's amazing about this family, and if you compare it to this family living in Greensboro, North Carolina, now I know you guys probably don't eat any of this stuff here, but I know we do. And the reason we're so unhealthy is, again, if you look at that food chain, that family in Chad is healthier than this family for sure. And again, it's not because we can't afford to eat healthy, but our choices, if you look at all of those chemicals and dyes and preservatives, and you also know that fruits and vegetables are the best fuel for your body. You know, what do you see on that family's, you know, diet of any real food? There is some there. There's some tomatoes, there's some grapes, I think. There's some veggies on the taco salad, but really, if you look at that diet, it's full of calories and chemicals and preservatives and sugar and not much real food. And that's really the cause right there of heart disease. It's not a mystery. Our diet is literally killing us. And if we can, again, it's not about being perfect, but if we can start making some changes, you know, start substituting some of these processed foods, some of the meat and potatoes, and possibly even your dairy. You know, that's a topic that raises the air for a lot of people. But my opinion, we would be a healthier culture without any cow's milk. And I say that because of the way milk is pasteurized and homogenized. It's just not a very absorbable form of calcium. The best form of calcium for you is green vegetables, not cow's milk. But again, our diet is killing us. And, you know, these sports drinks, which I think these things cost like $3, $4, $5 a can now. If you really want to jack yourself up and take the fast track to heart disease, you know, drink this stuff here. And again, a lot of our younger generation, this is why we're seeing diseases, in this case, heart disease at a younger and younger age, because again, we're eating all this toxic stuff. It's literally killing us. And then you look at, you know, there's no mystery here what causes heart disease. You know, what you eat or don't eat is the #1 risk factor for having heart disease and poor circulation. You know, we've all got that plaque building up over time. It causes the arteries to narrow and harden. And then that fatty substance blocks or causes blockages and fatty deposits lining the vessel walls. And basically directly related to what we eat, right? It's directly from what we're eating. And then, just consider maybe making some better choices when it comes to heart health and a healthier diet. And if you look at some of the things there, we're not telling you to, go out and be a vegetarian, but focusing on more of a plant-based diet. You can see we stuck red wine in there. That's got to be good. Now, I wouldn't recommend drinking a fifth a day, but they do say there's some health benefits in the red wines, especially the resveratrol in wine is helpful. But again, a lot of good things here. And, if you're not eating some of these things like walnuts, if you eat just 4 walnuts a day, the research has shown that has a significant impact on cardiovascular health. But all kinds of healthy things out in nature. Even our government now, after I don't know how many years we used to have the food pyramid, and I attribute Michelle Obama to bringing this about, was the foodplate.org. This is something they changed, I think, back in 2015. And if you look at that plate, what our government is telling us, that at least 75% of our diet should be fruits, vegetables, and grains, right? And I don't know about you, but that's hard for most of us, however, what the research is bearing out, that a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, all kinds of things found in Mother Nature, is your best treatment for heart disease. And again, if you want to live long and die short, you got to start eating more produce. It's essential to good health. The American Cancer Society, the American Heart Association, the American Diabetic Association, Diabetes Association, this is what they're telling us to do if you want to live long and die short. The more colorful your diet, you can see that American Cancer picture there, the more benefits. The whole apple a day keeps the doctor away is so true. And what's interesting about that apple, and I know you can't read any of those things probably that are isolated in an apple, but these are just some of the things they found in a red apple that will benefit you. And it's not mega doses of any one thing. And that's why I'm not a big fan of vitamin pills. Vitamins, you're taking 10, 20, 30 things out of Mother Nature, and it's just not providing the same benefit as eating the whole food. You gotta get all that stuff working together in synergy to provide benefits. So this is coming from somebody that used to recommend lots of vitamin pills. We would do blood analysis and hair saliva, all kinds of stuff in our clinic. We'd get that information back, and then we would prescribe various prescribe various supplements that we saw they were deficient in. And what I've learned, especially the last 20 years, is we're not deficient in vitamin pills. We're deficient in the real food, the whole food. So if you're a big vitamin pill consumer, you might want to consider shifting to more whole food, plant-based diet, more whole food supplements. It really is critical for good health. And then you look at what they're telling us, and I think this is a conservative figure. They're saying that prescribing fruits and vegetables could lower medical costs by 100 billion. I think it's probably more like 300, 400, 500 billion. We could reduce our sick care costs. It's crazy the benefits of plants in our diet, especially when it comes to cardiovascular health. And a lot of us, we should eat better, but we really don't want to. So what we do is we lean heavily on our medical doctors in many cases to provide that health that we're not getting in our diet and lifestyle. And we so appreciate modern medicine and all the miraculous things that they do. But I will tell you, if you're looking for your drugs to provide, the benefits, the health benefits, and you're not changing your diet and lifestyle, it's really all for naught. It's kind of like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. A friend of mine, Dr. Pam Popper, says that, and it's true. Just realize that drugs do something to you, whereas diet and lifestyle does something for you. So again, we appreciate, medicine short term, but again, if you're leaning on hypertension drugs, cholesterol drugs, all these other medications long term, and what the research is showing is long term consumption of these medicines in many cases do more harm than good. So again, we're just talking out loud here and just kind of sharing some ideas and what I think is really the answer to our healthcare crisis, and that's what we're talking about tonight. So if you want to live long and die short, I love Heather Morgan. She says every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or fighting it, and that is so true. And I have a patient, Mary. I had a patient, Mary. I haven't seen her in a while, but she was over 100 years young. And Mary would come in the office and I would ask Mary, how you doing? And she said, "Oh, I'm doing great, Dr. Mike." She says, I've got the 6 best doctors. And I don't know, 20 some years ago, she shared this with me. And I thought, wow, that is so profound and so true. And I know you guys know all this stuff, but again, if you really want to take control of your health, and again, we're all familiar with this stuff, but these 6, what we'll call doctors, or these 6 habits, is the answer to what ails most of us. You know, fresh air, water, exercise, sunshine, rest, you know, eating a plant-based diet. That will, if we're focusing on those activities, I would say that would probably take care of about conservatively 80%, you know, of what we're suffering from. And just real quick, you know, obviously water is, you know, that should be your primary beverage. If you're not drinking water throughout the day, if you're drinking all coffee or soda pop or, you know, whatever, sports drinks, whatever, you know, you're really hurting your body. And I know the rule of thumb, you're supposed to what, take your body weight divided by 2, and that's how many ounces you're supposed to consume every day. I don't know about you. I don't measure out how much water I'm drinking, but I will tell you that if your urine, you know, looks like a school bus or it smells like the city dump, you're probably not drinking enough water. And since we're talking about that part of the body, you know, you should be having a bowel movement at least once a day, conservatively. Once or twice a day would be optimum. I'll have some patients, you know, they'll come in and tell me I have a bowel movement every 3-4 days. And I'm like, oh, my stars, you know, you talk about cancer happening. The best way to get your plumbing going is fruits and vegetables along with water, right? It's so simple. We so complicate things, but water's critical for good health. First thing in the morning, I would leave a glass of water next to either on your bathroom sink or next to your bedstand. Drink that sucker down first thing in the morning. Great way to start the day. You know, rest, you know that the experts tell us that you're supposed to sleep 7 to 8 hours per night, not per week, but per night is what they're telling us we should be getting rest. But again, I know we all know we should sleep more, but again, if you want to live long and die short, you got to get some rest. And the problem is even when you try to get a good night's rest, you know, you're all jacked up on caffeine, you're not eating well, you're stressed out, you're not exercising. So it is hard to get a good night's rest. But I guarantee if you want to sleep better, drink more water, exercise, get out and get some fresh air and start eating more plants. And I guarantee you'll get a good night's sleep. And then fresh air and sunshine. If you live in Ohio, that's a little more challenging. We're kind of 6 months a year, it's gray and overcast here. But anyhow, you know, we're still getting outside, you know, doing our best here. But sunshine is your best source of vitamin D for sure. You got to get outside and get some moderate sunshine on a regular basis. And then eating a plant-based diet, we'll talk a ton about that here. What about exercise? Now that's a hard one for a lot of us. It is for me. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a guy that goes to the gym. You know, I need to be more like Jamie Coonsey and going to all these Spartan races and some of these other amazing things that you're doing. But for me, I do cycle a lot. And the thing with me is if I set a goal, you know, I'm more apt to do the activity. And this picture actually comes from about 4 years ago. I took a bicycle ride. I rode my bicycle from Dayton, Ohio. I went to the East Coast through West Virginia, and then I rode all the way down Highway 1 to Florida. And I kind of joke, I say, this is a picture. I thought it was a bicycle bar, but I actually went into a biker bar. But it was just a great time. And, you know, it was slow and steady. But if you're not moving, if you're not doing something on a consistent basis to get your blood flowing, again, one of the biggest things you can do to accelerate heart disease is live a sedentary life. And I love that statement. It said, set a goal to achieve something that is so big, so exhilarating, that it will scare you and excite you at the same time, basically. So if you're not moving, if you're not exercising, don't look at it as exercise. Look at it as maybe just putting on some comfortable clothes, some comfortable shoes, and taking the dog for a walk. But you got to get moving. For the guys on the chat, you could see sex in big bold letters there, and the fine print it says, "Now go work out." And again, you know, if you want to talk that topic, which most of you probably do not, but again, if your get up and go isn't getting up and going, it's a cardiovascular issue. And the best way to improve that is through what we're talking about tonight. So anyhow, more information than you may want. And this, I know I've probably stepped on some toes with the dairy and probably the medicine, and now I'm going to upset the rest of the crowd here. But do I eat meat? Yes, I eat some meat, but I will tell you that the countries that consume the most animal products are the unhealthiest, and the countries that consume the most plants are by far the healthiest. So the problem with our animals today is the way that we raise them. A lot of these cows and chickens and pigs, they're raised, you know, they never see the light of day. They're not free range, you know, cows. And I always get that comment from the meat eaters. You know, I got to eat my meat to be big and strong. You know, what do you think cows eat? You know, they're not eating meat, they eat grass, right? So if you haven't seen the documentary, The Game Changer, that would be a great one to check out as far as a lot of the myths behind meat. And I know this is a big issue with a lot of us. Again, I shared earlier that I was raised on meat and potatoes. If dad didn't have meat and potatoes with, you know, just about every meal, he wasn't happy. But if you look at the research out there on meat, it's not good. You know, eating 2 servings of red meat, you know, it's significant. And this is a recent study. There's a lot of studies that confirm that, but just 2 pieces of bacon in a processed piece of meat will significantly increase your risk of cardiovascular disease. So I would think, just from a common sense standpoint, if you've got a family history like I do, or what about cancer? You know, I know tonight's about heart disease, but again, we're talking about meat here. You know, huge study, the Harvard Health study, close to 100,000 women. Those women who consume 1.5 servings or more of red meat per day had nearly double the risk of developing cancer compared with those women eating 3 or fewer servings per week. So if you have a family history of heart disease or cancer, I think it's just common sense to cut back on your red meat intake and start eating more green vegetables. And if you are a big meat eater, you know, maybe try some of the wild game. I eat some venison. My wife doesn't eat much meat, but I like venison and some of the wild game for sure. So the bottom line, folks, is either you pay the farmer now, or you're going to pay the doctor a whole lot more pretty quickly, right? And it's your choice. It's all about self-care and you being your own best physician. You know, and if you look at the quality of our food today, it's not so great. You know, we're not really growing for quality food. You know, we're growing for volume of food, and you look at the GMO and all the pesticides and herbicides, it's hard to get good, healthy food, especially if you live in Ohio and, you know, Missouri, wherever you guys are at. It's hard to get fresh produce at least 6 months out of the year, probably longer for many of you. And that's why I love something called the Tower Garden. It's an aeroponic growing system by the Juice Plus company. That picture of me is actually getting ready to go on my cycling trip, and I took this picture for that. But the Tower Garden, you can grow year round in Ohio or Missouri or anywhere for that matter. There's a lighting system that comes with it, and if you really want to take control of your food budget and really know what kind of produce you're getting, you can check this Tower Garden out. I love it. The thing will pay for itself in a year if you're eating off it regularly. It's easy. From an environmental standpoint, you're using about 1/3 of the space, about 70% less water than a traditional garden to grow the same amount of produce. It's a no-brainer, very simple. If you're not familiar with the Tower Garden, check it out. And then the other thing there you can see on the table, something that I've been taking for 22 years. I will tell you, and I say it unashamedly, I am sold out to my Juice Plus products. Juice Plus came into my life 22 years ago. I was kind of skeptical, but we added it to our diet, and we saw some pretty positive things in our family's health and our health. And it was really our experience that caused me to check out the company more seriously. And we went to a conference in San Diego in March of 1999 to get away from Ohio, really, but we went to check it out, and I was so impressed. This is a company that's been around for a long time, 50 years. Juice Plus is the #1 selling whole food product in the world. Yes, it is a food product. It's not a vitamin pill. It's wide spectrum, wide variety fruits and vegetables. And basically, this is what you're getting when you eat Juice Plus. And I will tell you that Juice Plus is not in place of eating right. You know, our goal for all of us tonight is to eat lots and lots of fruits and veggies, right? That plate that we showed you earlier, basically that equates to about 9 or more servings of fresh raw fruits and vegetables a day. But again, that's hard. The Juice Plus is a great way to kind of bridge that gap between what we should be eating and what we actually do eat. But look at all those wonderful things found in Mother Nature. You've got the fruit, the pink on the left, the green is the vegetable in the middle, and then the berry blend is the purple one, which all that stuff's great for cardiovascular health for sure, but especially berries. They've really seen a lot of benefits in berries, and a lot of research has borne that out. But basically, whole foods harvested at peak ripeness. Basically you're getting plant powders. There's also just a yummy soft chew that you can get as well. And then we also recommend a full spectrum omega blend. It's all plant-based omegas, which we've kind of eliminated the middle fish or the middleman, which it's a better source of omegas, and it's basically saving the environment because we fished out most of our fisheries as far as for the omegas. It's a big deal, but check out the omega blend if you're not familiar with that. But the reason that I can sit here and tell you tonight that Juice Plus is the single best thing that you can add to your diet is the fact that there are 41 published studies done on Juice Plus. All of the research has been done outside of the company at major institutions, research universities around the world. Places like MD Anderson, Brigham Young, Wake Forest, Tokyo Women's College. They're actually doing a study on Juice Plus at Cambridge University. So just know that the Juice Plus is the most thoroughly researched, and it's all good studies, double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized crossover studies, which is the best research that you can do. And I will spare you of, I used to go into painful detail in these studies because the impact that these studies have on broad spectrums of physiology in the body is huge. And I won't go through all of that with you, but just looking at, the fact that Juice Plus is actually being absorbed in your body. Do you realize that when you take a lot of vitamin pills, basically you're flushing a lot of that stuff down the drain because it's not bioavailable, it's not being absorbed. But things like vitamin C, vitamin E, beta carotene, lycopene, which is found in red tomatoes. That's why a red tomato won't burn in the sun when it sits outside. It's because of lycopene protecting the tomato. Well, when you eat Juice Plus, the lycopene in your body goes up over 2,000%. Supports and strengthens immune health, helps protect your DNA, oxidative stress, which all of us have going on within our body every second of every day. Supports healthy skin. We know that when you eat Juice Plus, you have better hydration and better vascular flow to your skin. Your skin is more dense. Oral health, they've shown that when you eat Juice Plus, your gums bleed less. The pocket that holds the tooth in place is healthier. It's not receding. The pocket depth is less with Juice Plus, folks. They've tested Juice Plus on little people, on old people, on smokers, on high intense athletes. They've even shown that Juice Plus can help attorneys. Believe it or not, lawyers actually benefit from Juice Plus as well. That's a joke, but they did a study actually on down at the University of Florida, in Florida. They did a study on first-year law students and really showed some positive things. But as far as cardiovascular wellness, that really, again, for me personally, with my family history, I really have a lot of peace of mind knowing that I'm doing some really good things for my heart when I eat Juice Plus. And basically with Juice Plus, it's been shown to have a slight reduction in blood pressure. It promotes arterial elasticity. Just know that stiff arteries increase blood pressure, which can ultimately lead to heart failure. But Juice Plus has been shown to help arteries retain their normal healthy elasticity even after a high-fat meal. And what that high-fat meal was bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, egg McMuffin, 2 quarters of hash browns, and a cup of coffee is what they fed these participants for a month. And if you don't know it, that's a very high-fat meal. And the fact is some of us, hopefully we don't eat that way every day, but the fact is even though, you may be eating that way, the good news is if you're eating Juice Plus, you're getting a lot of protection from that high-fat meal. Another thing that Juice Plus has been shown to do is basically maintain normal levels of homocysteine. Juice Plus protects your heart by preventing elevated levels of homocysteine, which is it's an amino acid that if it gets to too high levels in your body, it's very toxic. And then Juice Plus has also been shown to lower that bad cholesterol, that LDL cholesterol, which, high cholesterol is one of the major risk factors for cardiovascular disease. And Juice Plus helps maintain, lowers of that LDL cholesterol. And I know tons of people that are on cholesterol lowering drugs, but when you look at all the different things that Juice Plus has been shown to benefit, across the spectrum of physiology, it's a no-brainer. I think everybody should be taking Juice Plus. And it's been the single best thing, again, that I've been able to add to my diet as well as sharing with my patients. And then the berry blend there, you can see it comes from algae oil, sea buckthorn, berry oil, pomegranate seed oil, raspberry seed oil, safflower seed oil, and tomato seed oil. This is an incredible blend of omegas. And again, if you're concerned about heart health, brain health, skin health, eyes, omegas have been shown to be one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Great way to get more omegas in your diet. Check out the plant-based omegas. Now this study, this is what we call the Family Healthy Starts for Families study. This is not a gold standard objective study like the other 41. Okay, this is more of a subjective study as reported by the parents. Kids don't like to do blood work and all that kind of stuff, but this is phenomenal when you're talking over 2 million participants worldwide that just by adding Juice Plus to their diet, not making any other changes in their diet, this is what they're seeing. These are results from 1.5 million of the families over the last 20 years. You know, you talk about lowering healthcare costs, 60% were missing fewer school days, 56% were taking fewer over-the-counter prescription drugs. You know, just imagine if all the kids in America were eating Juice Plus, what that would do to lower healthcare costs. You know, and they're making other healthy changes as well. 71% were drinking more water, 66% again going to the doctor less often. All this amazing stuff just by adding Juice Plus to their diet. And the neat thing about this is you know, the people that introduce folks to Juice Plus, they're actually willing to offset the cost. They will sponsor a child for up to 3 years to where the child actually gets Juice Plus at no cost, as long as an adult associated with that child is eating it as well. So it is a freebie for the customer, but again, for the partners, the Juice Plus partners, they're actually offsetting. They're paying for that product so that these kids and families can consume Juice Plus. It's a pretty amazing program. I love it. And I hope I haven't come across as making any claims or anything like that. You know, Juice Plus cures nothing. The fact is your body is the cure. You are the cure. You just got to give it the right food, the right fuel, and things should go pretty well. So as I close out here, let me ask you folks, where are you at? You know, I was kind of raised in the medicine cabinet, you know, and I really think a better choice for sure, much more affordable and far more effective, is more plants in our diet. You know, nature's pharmacy without any of the side effects. It's pretty impressive, right? And I love C.S. Lewis is that you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. And that's what we're talking about. You know, I've got my Change Your Story t-shirt on. You know, this was kind of some of our partners. This was our theme a couple years ago. And it's never too late to change, folks. I don't care where you're at on this health journey. I would just encourage you to kind of check what we've shared tonight. This is such a profound statement. You know, the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they are so good for you that they could save your life. And it's true. You know, we got to start eating more of this stuff. I would encourage you, one simple change, you know, one first step, I would encourage you to add Juice Plus to your diet. It's the single best thing that you can do. And, you know, as I close here, this is the last slide, you know, I would ask you, you know, where are you at on this journey? You know, I would ask you, where is the joy in your journey? I know this isn't very profound, but if you're not feeling good, there's not much joy in your life, right? What we're offering you tonight is a better way and some simple solutions. You know, we're not talking about, you know, thousands of dollars here. We're talking about some simple changes, kind of tweaking what you're doing right now, and the health benefits will be profound. So, you know, what are you willing to do to bring that joy back into your, you know, that health back into your life? You know, are you willing to make some simple changes? You know, hopefully you're not just going to walk away with, you know, just, wow, what a great looking guy and a great presentation, right? You know, hopefully that's not all you're going to get out of this. You know, hopefully you're going to make some changes. And, you know, what I will tell you again is, you know, Juice Plus is indeed one of the best things that you can add to your diet. And I say that confidently. And I love what Mark Twain, I'll close with this statement. He said, the secret of getting ahead or getting healthier is just getting started. So I want to encourage you guys to get started on this health journey, and really excited about this. Brandy and Jamie and others, thank you so much for allowing me to present. This is fun.
Well, we want to just thank you for gifting us this evening, for sure. And, you know, I'll close with this. The person that invited you tonight really cares about you. And whether you watched this live or watched it as a recording. And, for me, 17 years ago, I was in a health crisis in my 20s, just like you grew up, right? And you lost your father. And so I have to agree with you. One simple change can make such a profound difference. I say month after month, right? So I embraced one simple change, and that concept to me was, well, if I can do one simple change a month, that's 12 profound changes to your health in a year's time. And that snowball effect is so profound. So you shared so many great things this evening. And I like to say too, at the end of the day, if we can't afford prevention, how are we ever going to be able to afford disease, right? And you nailed it. I think, a nurse myself, I sit here and think we have we have a broken system. It's not a healthcare system. It's a sick care system. And I know that you have touched thousands of lives. Many of us here have touched thousands of lives in a whole different way. And I have a friend that said, you know what? Plants can live without us, but we can't live without plants. And so I just encourage you to just take this message in and start with one simple change, because I don't think a lot of times we know how bad we feel until we start feeling really well. So thank you guys for joining us this evening, and blessings to a great rest of the month. And, as you were listening tonight, if you were thinking, oh my gosh, I wish so-and-so would have been here, because I know I felt that way, get with the person who invited you. And we did record it this evening, and we'll be more than happy to share the recording.
Thank
So
you.
good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.